South Florida 2023 real estate market has been divided at this moment. What do I mean by divided? That's what we are going to discuss in the full video. And if you're a buyer and looking to buy in South Florida or in any other market, then this video will definitely give you more insights of the behind the scene market and you can plan your strategy accordingly. And if you're a seller in South Florida, then definitely watch this video till the end because I'm sharing my current listings where we changed our plan and why we changed our plan. That's what I'm going to show you in this video. Let's talk real estate right now. So right now in 2023, lots of things are happening in real estate market. You will see every week interest rates are changing. Fed is making a lot of changes because of the inflation, and you will see little ups and downs. Both kinds of waves are coming in real estate. So especially in the interest rate. So that's impacting this overall market a lot. When this thing started actually in last April, definitely we saw big slowdown, and that's everybody knows about it. We saw this slowdown almost everywhere globally, and especially in South Florida we saw in a lot of areas. But things started changing, especially in winter market where we suddenly this slowdown has show a little pickup in some areas. Now not only which division of the market in good area versus B and C in between, or the main division started happening is between non-remodel and remodel property. So South Florida real estate market, definitely we see the slowdown and also the appreciation. That's number one thing. The percentage of the appreciation started decreasing compared to last 2 or 3 years what we saw. But the major change, especially right now in the spring market, what I saw is we are started seeing the multiple offer situations, which is not everywhere or which is not in every single property. So it looks like very divided market at this moment. What I mean by divided, okay, where the school zones are good, so it's like A and B between cities, that's where the traffic is going more, and B and C traffic is less. More likely that division is not everywhere, but in some counties I'm looking at. Days in a market are keep increasing if the property is non-remodel. And if the property is remodeled, we are looking at the multiple offer situation. And there are real examples I'm going to share in this video, so make sure you see till the end. So what I mean by days in a market, so when the property is not going under contract for X amount of days, that's what we call as a days in a market. So that directly reflects the market value. So if you want to judge if that property is doing good, if it is priced correctly, that you can judge by days in a market. Days in a market can increase in a couple of ways also. For example, if the property went in a contract and came back for XYZ reason, that's its different story. And then still, let's say came back, but they didn't reset in an MLS, still you see the number of days has increased. So a lot of time my clients ask me like, oh, this property is in a market since last 70 days. Why is it like that? But when actually I look at it in a back end, it went under contract for 2 times and came back for XYZ reasons. It's maybe just because of the loan didn't get approved, and that more often happening at this moment also because the lenders are more and more strict since pandemic market, and they are more strict even right now. You won't believe how many times they are checking buyers the job verifications, like they are checking so many times. I was just talking to one of my preferred lender, and he was sharing the story where they had a clear to close in a hand, and they got on the day of closing, the buyer got the layoff. And that day when they called and they found out, the job verification denied basically that particular job because he got a layoff on the day of the closing. So they couldn't close the loan, and it was so hard. They were about to lose the escrow, but it was a real situation, but it was really hard to convince the seller also to get the escrow back. So that kind of situation also happens, and there is no fault of the property or the seller or even a buyer. It's just because of the third party reason it does basically property came back in a market. And that if it went on a contract for that long, it means it's almost 30 days closing. Sometimes people keep you at 45 days closing nowadays because they don't know where they are moving, so they won't have enough days, and the seller sometimes asks for 45 days. So property stays under contract 45 days with one buyer, and then let's assume that it comes back. So technically you see the days in market increase in that property, but that's not the direct reason of if the value is not correct, right? So, and there are some properties, either is overpriced or they are not at the correct value for XYZ reasons, then still you will see the days in the market increasing. And that days in the market is a correct days which I'm referring right now. Because if you want to judge the market, definitely you need to keep in consideration median or average value of that area, and also average days in a market. So when there was a fast pacing pandemic market, when we had those times, the average days in a market was less than 20 days in some cities. Right now the average days in a market increased to up to 60 days, and in some cities increased up to even 120 days also. But that doesn't mean the good properties are not going. Actually, the good properties are going more than asking value. And remember this, right now they're already appraised at much higher value than even 2021. So appreciation percentage was less than, let's compare from 2020 to 2021, but 2021 to 2022, it didn't depreciate it. It did show the correction, and the over expectation kind of corrected where the sellers are not getting over expectation value, but at the same time it's not depreciated. So right now the sellers have a best value if they have a best property, and that's what I'm going to show you in my current listing, where we changed complete strategy in spring market, because when we got this property in hand, it was rented by the tenant and I couldn't do anything if it is rented. And by the time I got this property, the spring market started and we are approaching the summer market. So at this moment, because of the division, I changed my strategy, and we are investing thousands of dollars to change the look of this property. But my client is going to make tremendous amount of extra dollars than what they can make at this moment if they sell this one. And I also want to share some example where we put an offer for one of my buyer, this property. You see it, how it looks like, right? So this same property, it went under contract with 15 offers. And it went way above the asking value. We even put the escalation clause, but still we didn't get this one. So it is a completely divided market. So if you are a buyer and buying right now in spring and summer, you should have a strategy based on what you have. So if you're a buyer and buying in spring or summer market of 2023, then definitely make sure you have a correct strategy to buy. And if you're buying in South Florida, definitely you need to check out the location where you're buying and then plan your strategy. And if you're buying and also correct property. Okay, so if you want to save a cost, right? This is my personal advice. In advice to my personal clients too. Do not fall in love with remodel property like this, because if you really want to save your money, okay, if you want to make money out of this property, you are going to make only in a less remodel or less remodel property. Okay, so depends on what budget you have. This strategy would work if you have a cash in hand, because remember, remodeling goes, you need to put the cash from your pocket. But if you do not have a cash and you want to get everything together to the bank and give it to the bank, then yes, you need to put a competitive offer. The offers like what we were putting in a winter market or from April to winter market is not working anymore in South Florida. You will lose the properties if you fall in love. If you do not fall in love, you don't care about, okay, that's okay. Trial error is okay in this market too. And in pandemic market, we have seen the properties going in few days. That's what started happening now. Trust me, it is started happening. And it is going to be increasing because the inventory is still low. Even though interest rates are higher, even though we know that less buyers compared to in last 2-3 years where they're in the market, but there are buyers in the market. Remember this. And there are, like, a renter price has been gone up. Renter prices are not going up and up anymore, but it is at the peak. Okay, if you want to rent in, let's say, in a Parkland city in South Florida, 3+ bedrooms, 3 to 4 bedrooms, easily you have to spend between $5,000 to $7,000 minimum to rent. If you're somebody is putting that much rent, then they will think like, why don't I have a mortgage? And that at least that money I'm putting in my pocket, not giving to somebody else mortgage basically. So this kind of buyers are still there in a market. So it's not completely stopped, just like we saw a little bit pause in first 6 months when the interest rate going up. Second change is happening is a psychology, right? When things change, some new change comes, it takes a while for everybody to understand. So now buyers and sellers both are getting where the market is heading. Again, every week is different. Every week we are seeing the different numbers in different areas. So you need to keep revising the strategy. But definitely right now in next few months market, I see where the property will be remodeled, you have to have a competitive offer. If you want to negotiate the best, then do not choose the remodeled property. Do not choose, trust me. And if you want to have something, if you're an investor, for example, then also it's a great market where you can negotiate. We are buying a lot of investment property right now. So one of the project I'm sharing is my investment property I'm working with my sellers too. So, but we revised the strategy because of this market. Otherwise, I was going to sell as is. So if this market wasn't like this, I wouldn't have planned to put thousands of dollars in remodeling. But it makes sense to put that dollars to get out the best value of this one. And this is in a great area too. So the property which I'm showing, it's one of the nice area in South Florida. I cannot release the address and all, but definitely it is in a great area and great location. And when property will be ready, it will be perfect in a time frame wise, because this will be ready in summer market. So more demand is mostly in a summer. So from April to July, that's where the most demand from buyers. And those buyers are in urgency too, because they are moving just before the school, or they have to plan before the school even though they are local. So technically that time frame is, no matter what, is more busy than the winter or spring market. So that's one of the reasons we are changing the strategy totally for this one. And the condition of the property. So this property, if I sell right now as is, someone has to, whoever buys it, they have to put thousands of dollars inside to make this their own, which is not feasible for the current buyers because they are already giving the higher interest rate. They may not have that much amount of dollars to put into the property. And this is not a small house. It's a 5-bedroom with pool, big lot, and one of the nice neighborhood. So, and it's almost 3,600 square foot house. So it's not a small house where you are going to put just $10,000 and you can make your own. No, this is going to consume a lot, big number, which not everybody has that in a bank. I mean, their bank sitting. And plus, when the interest rate high, a lot of people are putting more down to get the value of the monthly lower. Otherwise, the monthly it's becoming more unaffordable. So if you're a seller, then definitely, you need to revise your strategies, depends of this current market. And that's where you need a correct team to get an advice. I can't advise just, from phone like this on a video base. But definitely if you have some questions, comment me below. I would love to answer you. If you're looking to sell your house in 2023 and get the best value with the multiple offers in this market, I have an amazing strategy to get you the best money out of it. This is the house, what you see in the back. That's what we are working on to get the thousands of extra dollars for my clients. If you're looking to do something like this and want more information, fill this out.